This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read and recorded by Betsy Bush, Marquette, Michigan, October 2006. Gawayne and the Green Knight, a Fairy Tale, by Charlton Minor Lewis. Preface. Arms and the man I sing, not as of old the Mantuan bard his mighty verse unrolled, but in such humbler strains as may beseem light changes rung on a fantastic theme. My tale is ancient, but the sense is new, replete with monstrous fictions, yet half true, and if you'll follow till the story's done, I promise much instruction and some fun. Canto I. The Green Knight. King Arthur and his court were blithe and gay in high-towered Camelot on Christmas Day, for all the Table Round were back again, at peace with God and with their fellow men. Their shields hung idly on the pictured wall, their blood-stained banners decked the festal hall. Light footsteps rustling on the rush-strewn floors, and laughter rippling down long corridors, attested minds at ease and hearts at play, rude Mars unharnessed for love's holiday. In the great hall the Christmas feast was done. The level sunbeams from the setting sun stretched through the mullioned casements to the wall, and wove fantastic shadows over all. The revelry was hushed. In tranquil ease the warriors grouped themselves by twos and threes about the dames and damsels of the court, and chattered careless words of small import. But in an alcove, unobserved apart, young Gawayne sat with Lady Elfinhart. In Arthur's court no goodlier knight than he wore shirt of mail or Cupid's panoply, and Elfinhart to Gawayne's eager eyes of all heaven's treasures seemed the goodliest prize. Now daylight faded, and the twilight gloom deepened the stillness in the vaulted room, save where upon the hearth a fitful glow blushed from the embers as the fire burned low. There is a certain subtle twilight mood, when two hearts meet in a dim solitude, that thrills the soul e'en to the finger-tips, and brings the heart's dear secrets to the lips. In Gawayne's corner, as the shades grew thicker, 4 eyes waxed brighter, and 2 pulses quicker. 10 minutes more of quiet talk unbroken, and heaven alone can tell what might be spoken. But it was not to be, for fate's unequal compelled, but this anticipates the sequel. Just in the nick of time, King Arthur rose from his sedate postprandial repose, and called for lights. Along the shadowy aisles his pages' footsteps pattered o'er the tiles, speeding to do his errand, and at once 4 tapers flickered from each silver sconce. The scene was changed, the dreamer's dream dispelled, and what might else have been his fate withheld from Gawayne's grasp? So may one touch of chance shatter the fragile fabric of romance, and all the heart's desire, the joy, the trouble, flash to oblivion with the bursting bubble. But Arthur, on his kingly dais seat, felt nothing of the passion and the heat that fire young blood. He raised his warlike head, and glancing moodily around him, said, "So have ye feasted well, my knights, this day, and filled your hearts with revel and with play. But to my mind that day is basely spent, which passes by without accomplishment of some bright deed of arms or chivalry. We rust in indolence, as well not be, as be the minions of an idle court, where all is gallantry and girlish sport. Some bold adventure let our thoughts devise, to stir our courage and to cheer our eyes. And lo, while yet he spoke, from far away, in the thick shroud of the departed day, upon the frosty air of evening borne, came the faint challenge of a fairy horn. King Arthur started up in mild surprise, while knights and dames looked round with questioning eyes. And each to other spoke some hurried word, as, "Did you hear it? What was that I heard?" But well they knew, for you must understand, that Camelot lay close to Fairyland, and the wild blast of fairy horns, once known, is straightway recognized as soon as blown, being a sound unique, unearthly shrill, between a screech owl and a whippoorwill. The mischief is that no one e'er can tell whether such heralding bodes ill or well. The ladies of the palace looked faint fear, dreading some perilous adventure near. For peril can the bravest spirits move, when threatening not ourselves but those we love. But Lady Elfinhart clapped hands in glee, in sooth no sentimentalist seemed she, and cried, "Now, brave Sir Gawayne, oh, what fun! Succor us, save us, else we are undone. Show us the prowess of your arm this night. I never saw a tilt by candlelight." Gaily she spoke, and seemed all unconcerned, and yet a curious watcher might have learned, from a slight quaver in her laughter free, to doubt the frankness of her flippancy. Gawayne, bewildered, looked the other way, and wondered what she meant, for in that day the ready wit of man was under muzzle, and woman's heart was still an unsolved puzzle. And Gawayne, though in valor next to none, wished that her heart had been a tenderer one. His sword was out for any foe on earth, and yet to face death for a lady's mirth seemed scarce worth while. What honor bade, he'ld do, but would have liked to see a tear or two. While thus he pondered, came a sudden burst of high-pitched fairy horn calls, like the first, but nearer, clearer, deadlier than before, blown seemingly from just outside the door. The casements shook, the taper lights all trembled, the bravest knights' dismay was ill dissembled. And as all sprang from one accord to win their swords and shields, stern combat to begin, the great doors shot their bolts and opened slowly in. And now my laboring muse is hard beset, for something followed, such as never yet was writ or sung by human voice or hand, save those that tell old tales from Fairyland. Miracles do not happen, 'tis plain sense, if you italicized the present tense, but in those days, as rare old Chaucer tells, all Britain was fulfilled of miracles. So, as I said, the great doors opened wide, in rushed a blast of winter from outside, and with it, galloping on the empty air, a great green giant on a great green mare, plunged like a tempest-cleaving thunderbolt, and struck four-footed, with an earthquake's jolt, plump on the hearthstone. There the uncouth wit sat greenly, laughing at the strange affright that paled all cheeks and opened wide all eyes, till after the first shock of quick surprise, the people circled round him, still in awe, and circling stared, and this is what they saw. Cassock and hood and hose, of plushy sheen, like close-cut grass upon a bowling green, covered his stature, from his verdant